Chosen one. You did not arrive here by curiosity or coincidence. You were drawn here by divine appointment, by a moment ordained in heaven before you ever pressed play. Right now, something ancient and sacred is stirring within your spirit, because this message is not about money alone. It is about revelation. It is about truth that has been hidden in plain sight, waiting for the appointed time and the appointed listener. And chosen one, that listener is you. For generations you were taught that faith and wealth could not walk together, that abundance was suspicious, that provision beyond survival was somehow unholy. But the Word declares otherwise. Scripture tells us that God gives power to create wealth not for vanity, but for purpose. And as it is written in Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 18, remembrance unlocks provision. When heaven reminds you of who you are, resources follow assignment. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural transfer. What you are about to hear will challenge traditions, dismantle false humility, and awaken wisdom that kings, builders, and stewards have walked in for centuries. This is not prosperity preaching. This is biblical truth restored. These are secrets the Word has always carried, now revealed for such a time as this. Prepare your heart, align your spirit, because what is coming next is not information, it is activation. Chosen one. What you are about to hear is not theory, tradition, or recycled opinion. This is revelation, and revelation always comes with responsibility. Heaven does not reveal truth to entertain you. It reveals truth to realign you, and right now you are being realigned. For centuries, one people group quietly followed instructions written in a book most of the world claims to respect, but rarely obeys. They didn't follow trends, they didn't follow emotions, they followed order, and over time, fruit followed obedience. Chosen one, this is not coincidence. This is pattern, and patterns reveal principles. I want you to understand something deeply. Wealth did not begin as a curse. Work did not begin as punishment. The very first assignment given to humanity was not worship, not singing, not sacrifice. It was stewardship. It was responsibility. It was work. Before sin ever entered the picture, before disobedience ever fractured the world, God placed man in a garden and gave him something to tend, something to build, something to manage. That means work is not beneath you. Work is not something you escape when you are blessed enough. Work is part of your divine design. Chosen one. I've watched this truth play out in real life. I've seen men lose themselves when they lose purpose. I've seen people retire too early thinking rest would save them, only to slowly decay from the inside. They weren't tired of work. They were tired of meaningless work. There is a difference. The lie of this age tells you to work just long enough to stop working. Heaven's design tells you to work from purpose, not toward escape. When work is aligned with calling, it does not drain you. It activates you. The curse was never work itself. The curse was friction, resistance, toil, the struggle. But struggle does not cancel assignment. It reveals where wisdom is needed. Chosen one. This is the first secret many never see. Wealth begins with responsibility, accepted, not avoided. The moment a person starts dreaming of a life with no responsibility, they are unknowingly walking away from authority. Because rights and responsibility are twins, you cannot keep one and discard the other. Now hear this clearly, because this is where many spirits get uncomfortable. The ability to produce wealth does not come from darkness. It does not come from greed. It does not come from manipulation. It comes from God. There are people who hate wealth not because wealth is evil, but because wealth exposes difference in discipline, and instead of confronting that difference, they demonize the outcome. They call competence corruption. They call diligence privilege. They call fruit evil. But the word says something very different. It says God gives the power to create wealth in order to establish covenant, not ego, not indulgence. Covenant, chosen one. I need you to catch this. God does not hand wealth to the lazy, not because he withholds love, but because wealth magnifies who you already are. If discipline is missing, wealth becomes destruction. If wisdom is present, wealth becomes expansion. I've lived this lesson personally. I had seasons where money was tight, not because God was absent, but because I was undisciplined. And when I learned how systems work, how money flows, how value is created, nothing spiritual was lost. In fact, my reverence increased, because I realized how ordered God truly is. Chaos does not produce wealth, order does. That's why Scripture honors skill, not intention, skill. Chosen one being nice is not enough. Being sincere is not enough. Heaven rewards mastery. It says the skilled will stand before kings, not the mediocre, not the passive, not the ones doing the bare minimum while praying for maximum harvest. Kings do not summon potential, they summon proof. And this is not about comparison. This is not about competing with others. This is about honoring what was placed in your hands. You don't need to be the best in the world. You need to be the best steward of your lane. I've seen this in everyday life. The top mechanic doesn't work at a discount shop forever. The top mechanic gets called to the highest level because excellence attracts opportunity without chasing it. Chosen one, excellence is spiritual. Sloppiness is not humility, it is neglect. Now let's step into a truth that makes many uncomfortable. The first purpose of wealth is provision for family, not image, not luxury, not applause. Family. The word does not whisper about this. It speaks with severity. It says failure here is denial of faith itself. That should stop us in our tracks. This means wealth is not optional when people depend on you. It is responsibility, and responsibility is holy. This also means waiting passively for rescue while ignoring ability is not faith. Faith without movement is spiritual avoidance. Chosen one. If heaven gave you breath, strength, and opportunity, it expects participation. God does not fund irresponsibility, he multiplies obedience. I know this is heavy, but heaviness precedes breakthrough when truth lands. Because what is coming next will challenge how you save, how you spend, how you invest, and how you view generosity itself. And some of what you're about to hear will confront systems you trusted without question. So stay with me. Do not pull away when it gets uncomfortable. Revelation always presses before it lifts, because the next secret exposes how wisdom hides in discipline, and how lack often comes not from shortage, but from consumption without restraint. Chosen one. Now that your spirit has been awakened to the truth that work is holy and responsibility is divine, we must move deeper. Because knowing why wealth exists is not enough. Heaven also teaches how wealth is preserved, multiplied, and protected. And this is where many anointed people fall, not because they lack faith, but because they lack discipline. There is a quiet war happening in the unseen realm, and one of its primary battlegrounds is consumption. The enemy does not need to steal your income if he can convince you to devour everything you receive. He does not need to block your increase if he can accelerate your spending. This is why wisdom speaks so often about restraint. Chosen one. Scripture reveals a simple but piercing truth: the wise have storehouses and the foolish consume everything. That is not poetry. That is diagnosis. I have watched this play out in real life more times than I can count. People pray for increase, receive it, and then immediately raise their lifestyle to meet it. New money comes in, new obligations follow, and before they realize it, they are no freer than before, just managing bigger bills with the same anxiety. This is not increase. This is illusion. Heaven does not bless you so you can look rich. Heaven blesses you so you can become secure, stable, and positioned. Oil and treasure were not symbols of luxury in Scripture. They were symbols of preparedness. They meant resilience during famine. They meant freedom from panic. They meant the ability to respond instead of react. Chosen one, restraint is not lack. Restraint is foresight. Now let us confront another truth that must be handled with maturity: debt. Debt is not sin, but it is bondage adjacent, and anything that repeatedly places pressure on your peace must be handled with extreme caution. The word says plainly that the borrower becomes servant to the lender. That is not condemnation, it is a warning, because debt transfers leverage. It gives another entity influence over your future decisions. I've seen this firsthand. I've watched people trapped in jobs they hate, not because they lack opportunity, but because debt removed their ability to choose. Every paycheck already belonged to yesterday's decisions. Their future was spoken for. Chosen. One wisdom does not reject debt blindly, but it never treats debt casually. Adjustable rate obligations, high-interest consumer debt, and emotionally driven borrowing are not neutral tools. They are accelerants in times of economic shaking. And shaking is not hypothetical, it is cyclical. This is why Scripture never commands you to borrow, but repeatedly cautions you about it. Because God does not want your calling constrained by financial pressure. He wants your obedience to be mobile. Now we must address something that many spiritually minded people struggle with: investing, because fear disguises itself as prudence here. Some save endlessly convinced that holding cash equals safety. But Scripture tells a story that exposes this mindset for what it is: fear pretending to be wisdom. In the teaching of the talents, the servant who hid money was not praised for caution, he was rebuked for fear. The issue was not loss, the issue was inactivity. Chosen one, heaven does not reward paralysis. What you were given was meant to move, to circulate, to grow, not recklessly but intentionally. The servant who did nothing was not punished for losing money, but for refusing to engage. And hear this carefully, God did not compare the servants to each other. He compared them to their assignment. Faithfulness was measured relative to what was entrusted, not by outcome magnitude. This should liberate you. You are not judged against someone else's capacity. You are judged by how you steward your portion. I have seen people talk themselves out of growth because they compare their starting point to someone else's finish line. That comparison breeds shame, and shame breeds inaction. Chosen one, heaven never asked you to be impressive. It asked you to be faithful. Now let's go deeper. Investing according to Scripture is not passive hope. It is active discernment. Wisdom considers steps. It does not follow noise. This is where many fall into traps, believing headlines, hype, or social proof instead of understanding. They hear a story, feel urgency, and move without clarity. And when it collapses, they blame fate instead of process. Discernment is slow. It asks questions. It observes patterns. It does not rush because fear of missing out is still fear. And Scripture goes further. It reveals a divine principle of diversification, not concentration, not obsession with one vehicle, distribution. Wisdom spreads exposure because it understands uncertainty exists. This is not lack of faith. This is respect for reality. I want to pause here and speak personally. I have made mistakes. I have over-concentrated. I have trusted ideas more than understanding. And each time the lesson was the same: God does not bless recklessness, even when intentions are pure. But when I learned to spread risk study systems and remain humble before complexity, stability followed. Not overnight, but consistently. Chosen one wisdom compounds. Now we arrive at a truth many resist. Wealth is generational by design. A righteous person leaves inheritance not just for children, but for children's children. This is not metaphorical. Scripture defines inheritance clearly: houses, land, wealth, tangible provision. This dismantles the idea that spiritual maturity requires financial absence. No, maturity plans beyond self. It thinks in decades, not pay periods. This does not mean hoarding. It means building something that outlives you. And finally, we must confront the purpose behind all of this. Because wealth without generosity becomes corruption. Giving is not obligation, it is culmination. Heaven increases those who become conduits, not containers. The goal was never accumulation, it was distribution with wisdom. But here is the twist: most misgenerosity works best when you are free. Free from panic, free from debt, free from survival thinking. Which leads us to the final sobering truth that will shake many assumptions: when people surrender responsibility to systems, they also surrender authority. And that path leads to control, taxation without consent, and eventually oppression. Chosen one. The next part will uncover this pattern clearly: how Scripture warns against trading stewardship for security, and how entire nations fell into bondage by doing exactly that. Do not miss it, because what you are learning is not just about money, it is about freedom. Chosen one. Now we arrive at a truth that shakes nations, not just individuals. This is where Scripture stops whispering and starts warning, because wealth is never just personal, it is structural. It shapes systems, cultures, and power. And when people misunderstand responsibility, the consequences do not stay small. I want you to hear this with discernment, not emotion. The Bible does not only teach you how to gain wealth, it teaches you how societies collapse when responsibility is surrendered. There is a story hidden in plain sight, one that many read but few finish. The story of Joseph in Egypt is often celebrated for foresight and planning. And yes, Joseph was wise. He interpreted the dream. He stored grain during years of abundance. That part is correct, but wisdom demands that we keep reading. Chosen one wisdom without context becomes deception. When famine came, the people had no grain of their own, not because grain didn't exist, but because responsibility had been centralized. The government had prepared, the people had not, and the moment crisis arrived, dependence was already in place. At first it looked harmless. They paid money for food. Then the money ran out, so they traded assets, livestock, productive resources, long-term wealth exchanged for short-term survival. This is always how the trap works. Short-term relief feels like rescue, but it quietly removes leverage. Once assets are gone, options vanish. The next year they had nothing left to trade except land and labor, and so they sold themselves. Chosen one, notice this carefully. Slavery did not begin with chains. It began with dependence. By the end of the process, the government owned the land, the resources, and the labor. And what followed was taxation codified into law. A permanent portion of every harvest belonged to the state, and only one group was exempt: the elite class aligned with power. This is not ancient history. This is a blueprint. And what happened next? A new ruler arose, one who did not know Joseph. And because the system was already centralized, oppression became easy. The people had no escape, no land, no assets, no independence. They were trapped inside a structure they had willingly entered. Chosen one. This is the final secret many do not want to hear. Giving up responsibility always precedes loss of rights. Always. Freedom is not preserved by intention, it is preserved by stewardship. I have watched this pattern repeat in modern life. Individuals who outsource responsibility for their finances, their health, their growth, slowly lose agency. At first it feels like help. Then it feels like obligation. Then it becomes control. The same is true spiritually. When people stop stewarding what God gave them and expect provision without participation, they drift into passivity, and passivity invites domination. God does not dominate his children, he partners with them. Chosen one. This is why Scripture places such heavy emphasis on diligence, foresight, and personal responsibility. Not to burden you, but to protect you. The goal was never for you to fear systems. The goal was for you to never be fully dependent on them. Now hear this clearly, because this is where the prophetic weight lands. Heaven is calling you back into alignment, not just with provision, but with authority. And authority requires ownership. Ownership of your time, ownership of your labor, ownership of your decisions. I am not speaking against help. I am speaking against abdication. When responsibility is surrendered long enough, tyranny does not announce itself. It arrives quietly, legally, and with applause. Chosen one, this is why wealth with wisdom matters, because without it, even good intentions lead to captivity. Now let me speak personally for a moment. There was a time in my life when I blamed systems for outcomes that were actually rooted in my own avoidance. I wanted security without sacrifice, stability without discipline, and every time I moved in that direction, I felt smaller, not safer. But when I reclaimed responsibility, even when it was uncomfortable, something shifted. Confidence returned, options expanded, peace followed. Responsibility is heavy at first, but it becomes strength over time. This is why God never promised ease. He promised empowerment. And this brings us to the heart of everything you've heard so far. Wealth is not the goal. Freedom is. Generosity is. Capacity is. Money is simply a tool that amplifies structure. If the structure is weak, money accelerates collapse. If the structure is strong, money accelerates impact. Chosen one, heaven is not trying to make you rich for applause. Heaven is positioning you to be unmovable in unstable times. The coming seasons will reward those who prepared quietly, those who saved when others consumed, those who learned when others mocked, those who stewarded when others demanded. This is not about fear, it is about readiness. Because the pattern never changes. Crisis exposes structure, and only those with margin can respond instead of panic. So here is the invitation before you. Reclaim responsibility. Reorder your life. Align your finances with wisdom, not impulse. Build storehouses. Diversify. Invest with understanding. Give generously, but from strength, not guilt. Chosen one. When you do this, something profound happens. You stop being reactive. You become anchored, and anchored people are very hard to control. In the next part, we will bring this all together, not just as principles but as activation, because revelation without action becomes judgment, but revelation with obedience becomes transformation. Stay with me. Because what comes next is not about information, it is about alignment. Chosen one, now we move from warning into alignment. Because heaven never exposes a pattern without also offering a path. Revelation is not meant to leave you uneasy, it is meant to reposition you. And if you felt a weight while listening to the previous parts, that weight is not fear, it is awakening. This is the moment where truth stops being external and becomes personal. Everything you've heard so far leads to one central realization: wealth is not random and freedom is not accidental. Both are built, slowly, intentionally, with reverence for order. Chosen one. Many people ask why some seem protected in times of shaking while others collapse. The answer is not favoritism, it is foundation. Storms do not destroy houses. They reveal how they were built. Heaven is not impressed by sudden success. Heaven looks for sustainability, because what rises quickly without structure often falls just as fast. I want you to examine your life without condemnation. Look at your income, your spending, your obligations, your habits. Not to shame yourself, but to understand yourself, because clarity is mercy. Ask yourself honestly, if pressure increased tomorrow, would I have margin or would I panic? Panic is not a moral failure, it is a signal. It reveals where preparation has been missing. Chosen one margin is spiritual. Margin is the space where generosity breathes, where discernment operates, where obedience is possible without fear. People often think generosity begins with emotion. It does not. It begins with capacity. When you are constantly surviving, giving feels threatening. When you are stable, giving becomes joyful. This is why God never shamed people for starting small. He only corrected those who refused to grow. Now let us speak about inheritance again, because this is where modern thinking clashes violently with Scripture. We are told to just live for today, to consume experiences, to avoid long-term responsibility. But heaven thinks generationally. Chosen one. You are not just living for yourself. Even if you never have children, your life influences others. Your decisions echo. Your discipline creates pathways. An inheritance is not about spoiling descendants. It is about removing unnecessary struggle so they can advance further than you did. It is about continuity of wisdom, not just money. I've seen families trapped in cycles, not because they lacked talent, but because every generation had to start from zero. No guidance, no capital, no structure, just survival. God's design was never endless restart. It was multiplication, and multiplication requires systems. Now hear this carefully. Systems do not remove faith. They protect it. Faith flourishes best where chaos is minimized. This is why Scripture speaks repeatedly about storehouses, planning, counting the cost. Not because God lacks power, but because He honors wisdom. Chosen one discipline is not restrictive. It is protective. Let me bring this into everyday life. Think about someone who eats without restraint and then prays for health. Or someone who avoids learning and then prays for promotion. Or someone who spends impulsively and then prays for financial peace. Prayer does not override patterns. It empowers transformation when patterns change. God partners with obedience, not avoidance. Now we must address generosity one more time, because it is often misunderstood and misused. Giving is not a transaction. It is alignment. It is participation in something larger than yourself. But generosity without wisdom creates dependency. And dependency, as you've seen, leads to imbalance. Scripture never celebrates dependency. It celebrates empowerment. This means your giving should strengthen others, not replace their responsibility. True generosity lifts people toward independence, not permanent reliance. Chosen one. Even God does not do for people what they are called to do for themselves. He provides opportunity, wisdom, strength, but He expects action. Now I want to speak prophetically over you. There is a shift happening in your understanding. You are moving from emotional faith to structured faith, from hoping to building, from reacting to preparing. This is not a loss of spirituality, it is a maturation of it. You may feel resistance inside you right now. old beliefs, questioning new insight. That resistance is normal. It means something is being replaced. Do not rush this process. Let truth settle. Let it reorder you gently. Chosen one. The wealth shift you've been praying for does not arrive as a miracle drop. It arrives as clarity, discipline, and courage to change patterns. Heaven often answers prayers by revealing what must be corrected. And here is the good news. Correction is not rejection. It is invitation. You are not behind. You are being positioned. There are people listening to this who will look back 1 year from now and realize this moment marked a turning point. Not because money suddenly appeared, but because wisdom took root. Wisdom compounds quietly. Now prepare yourself, because the next part will move from alignment into activation. We will talk about how to walk this out practically without losing your spirit, your joy, or your humility. Because wealth without peace is not blessing, and peace without provision is fragile. God intends you to have both. Stay present, stay open. What comes next will help you seal what has already begun. Chosen one. Now we move from understanding into embodiment, because truth that stays in the mind never transforms a life. It must descend into habit, decision, and daily practice. This is where many receive revelation but never experience fruit. Not because heaven withheld power, but because alignment was never completed. This part is about walking the path without losing your spirit. One of the greatest mistakes spiritually awakened people make is swinging from ignorance to extremism. They discover truth and then attempt to apply everything at once, harshly, rigidly, without patience. That is not wisdom. Wisdom moves steadily. Chosen one, God is not rushing you. He is establishing you. The wealth principles revealed in Scripture were never meant to turn you cold, anxious, or obsessed. They were meant to make you grounded, calm, unshakable. If your pursuit of order steals your peace, something is misaligned. This is why self-examination must be gentle but honest. Ask yourself, what one habit, if corrected, would create the most stability in my life right now? Not 10 changes. 1. For some, it is tracking spending. For others, it is eliminating destructive debt. For others, it is learning a skill deeply instead of scattering attention. For others, it is saving consistently instead of occasionally. Small obedience opens large doors. Chosen. One discipline is not punishment. It is agreement with your future self. Now let us talk about patience, because impatience is the silent enemy of wealth. Many people abandon good strategies because results do not appear immediately. But Scripture teaches seed time and harvest, not instant manifestation. I have learned this lesson personally. There were seasons where I did everything right and still saw slow progress. No breakthrough, no dramatic shift, just quiet consistency. And it was tempting to quit. But later, I realized something powerful. Stability is built invisibly before it becomes visible, just like roots grow before fruit appears. Chosen one. If you quit too early, you interrupt compounding. And compounding is where wisdom turns into abundance. Now let's speak about fear, because fear often masquerades as caution. Fear tells you to wait until conditions are perfect. Wisdom tells you to move when conditions are clear enough. There is no moment where risk disappears entirely. There is only the moment where understanding outweighs fear. Scripture never condemns thoughtful risk. It condemns paralysis born of fear. If you are waiting for total certainty before acting, you will wait forever. Faith does not require recklessness, but it does require movement. Chosen one movement breaks stagnation. Now hear this. Your journey toward financial alignment will expose emotional patterns. Spending often reveals unresolved wounds. Fear of lack often traces back to moments of instability. Hoarding often hides mistrust. Overspending often hides insecurity. This is not condemnation, this is compassion. When you notice these patterns, do not shame yourself. Observe yourself. Awareness dissolves control. I've seen people transform financially, not because they earned more, but because they healed emotionally. Once peace entered, their decisions changed naturally. Wealth flows most freely where inner conflict is resolved. Chosen one, do not ignore your inner world while building your outer world. They must grow together. Now let's talk about generosity again, but from a deeper place. Generosity is not about giving money alone. It is about giving from overflow, not depletion. If giving creates resentment, fear, or pressure, something is wrong. God does not want reluctant participation. He wants joyful alignment. This is why generosity should increase as stability increases. Not before, not as guilt, but as gratitude. When you give from strength, it multiplies peace. When you give from weakness, it multiplies anxiety. Chosen one, heaven does not demand sacrifice that destroys you. It invites sacrifice that matures you. Now I want to address comparison, because comparison is poison to stewardship. You are not building someone else's life. You are building yours. The pace of another person's progress is irrelevant to your assignment. Some are called to rapid expansion, others to slow, deep foundations. If you rush a foundation, you weaken it. Chosen one, trust your process. There will be moments where others seem to surpass you financially. Do not let that distract you. Many who sprint early burn out later. Scripture values endurance over speed. Now let us speak prophetically. There is a season coming where discernment will matter more than opportunity. Many doors will open. Not all should be entered. Wealth without wisdom attracts chaos. This is why Scripture emphasizes counsel, consideration, and patience. Chosen one, do not chase what flatters your ego. Choose what strengthens your structure. You are being trained not just to receive wealth, but to sustain it. And sustainability requires humility. Humility to learn, humility to wait, humility to admit mistakes and correct them. Pride rushes, wisdom refines. Now pause for a moment and breathe. Let what you've heard settle. You are not late, you are not broken, you are not incapable, you are in process. God does not waste seasons. Even your past mistakes were teachers. Chosen one, the fact that you are still listening means alignment is happening. In the next part, we will talk about protection, because as capacity grows, opposition increases, not from people but from pressure, distraction, and subtle compromise. We will talk about how to guard what God builds in you so it is not stolen, diluted, or misused. Stay steady, stay humble, stay open. What is forming now is meant to last. Chosen one, now we speak about protection, because whatever heaven builds, pressure will test. This is not to frighten you, it is to prepare you. Growth attracts attention, capacity attracts demand, and without discernment, even blessing can become a burden. Protection is not isolation. Protection is awareness. Many people think the greatest threat to wealth is loss. It is not. The greatest threat is leakage, small compromises, unchecked habits, quiet drains that go unnoticed until strength is gone. Chosen one, the enemy rarely attacks what is unstable. He waits until something valuable is forming. As your clarity increases, distractions will multiply. Opportunities that look good but pull you off assignment. Relationships that drain instead of sharpen. Commitments that consume time without producing fruit. Not everything that pays is profitable. This is where discernment becomes more valuable than income. Discernment tells you when to say no, even when yes looks appealing. Discernment guards your energy, your focus, your peace. I've learned this through experience. There were seasons when I said yes to everything because I thought opportunity meant favor. But over time I realized something sobering: some doors open to test your discipline, not to reward it. Chosen one. God will allow options to appear simply to see if you have learned restraint. Now let us speak about pressure. As you grow, people will project expectations onto you: family, friends, communities. Some will celebrate your progress, others will quietly resent it, and a few will attempt to access what you've built without respecting the process that built it. This is where boundaries become holy. Boundaries are not rejection, they are stewardship. If you allow everyone unlimited access to your resources, your time, or your emotions, you will burn out. Scripture never calls you to be endlessly available. It calls you to be faithful. Jesus himself withdrew. He rested. He said no, and he did so without guilt. Chosen one saying no to some requests is saying yes to your assignment. Now let us address another form of protection: simplicity. As wealth grows, complexity tries to grow with it. More accounts, more obligations, more noise. Complexity without understanding breeds anxiety. Wisdom simplifies wherever possible. It chooses clarity over clutter, order over excess. I've seen people lose peace, not because they lacked money, but because their financial life became too complicated to manage. Simplicity is not lack of ambition, it is mastery. Chosen one, do not build something you cannot oversee. Now we must speak about identity, because identity confusion is one of the most dangerous threats to stewardship. When people begin to identify as their wealth instead of with their purpose, collapse follows. You are not your net worth. You are not your assets. You are not your income stream. Wealth is a tool you hold, not a throne you sit on. This is why humility must grow alongside capacity. Humility keeps wealth in its place. Pride invites destruction. I have watched people change as money increased. Their speech shifted, their values blurred, their peace eroded, not because money is evil, but because identity drifted. Chosen one, never forget who you are when resources increase. Remember the lessons learned in scarcity. They were not meant to shame you. They were meant to ground you. Now let us talk about obedience, because obedience protects alignment. There will be moments when doing the right thing costs you financially in the short term. Integrity is expensive up front, but priceless long term. Scripture repeatedly shows that compromise brings temporary relief and permanent damage. Obedience may feel slower, but it builds trust with heaven. Chosen one, do not sacrifice long-term authority for short-term comfort. Another form of protection is counsel. Wise voices keep you from blind spots. Isolation makes you vulnerable to self-deception. This does not mean you need many advisors. It means you need a few honest ones. People who are not impressed by your success and not threatened by your growth. I learned this lesson the hard way. When progress began, I surrounded myself with praise instead of truth. And praise blinded me. Correction saved me. Chosen one, welcome correction early. It is much kinder than consequence. Now we come to spiritual protection. As you grow, prayer must deepen, not fade. Gratitude must increase, not diminish. Dependence on God must strengthen, not weaken. Wealth does not replace faith. It tests it. It is easy to pray when you need rescue. It is harder to pray when you feel self-sufficient. But that is when prayer matters most. Chosen one, never allow provision to silence your dependence. Now I want to speak directly to your spirit. There is a mantle of stewardship forming over your life. You are being trained to hold weight without being crushed by it. This training is subtle. It happens in choices no one applauds. In discipline, no one sees. In restraint, no one celebrates. But heaven sees, and heaven rewards quietly before it rewards loudly. You may feel a shift happening inside you. Less urgency, more clarity, less desperation, more peace. That is alignment. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming stable. In the next and final part, we will seal this message. We will speak about legacy timing and how to walk forward without fear, fully surrendered, fully grounded, and fully prepared for what heaven has already begun. Stay present, stay humble, stay faithful. You are closer than you think. Chosen one. Now we seal what has been spoken, because every revelation demands a response, not applause, not agreement alone, alignment. And alignment is proven by how you walk forward from this moment. You have heard about work responsibility, discipline, wisdom, protection, and stewardship. But now we arrive at the final truth that brings all of it together: legacy. Legacy is not what you leave behind. Legacy is what you build into others while you are still here. Wealth, when aligned with heaven, is never an end point. It is a bridge between generations, a bridge between need and provision, a bridge between prayer and impact. Chosen one. God never intended you to be a reservoir. He designed you to be a river, and rivers must keep flowing to stay alive. This is why timing matters. Not everything you are building is for now. Some things are being prepared quietly for seasons ahead. And wisdom knows when to move and when to wait. I want you to understand this deeply. Acceleration does not come from force, it comes from readiness. Heaven moves quickly when structure is stable. Many people beg God to hurry, but God waits for alignment, because arrival before preparation becomes destruction. Chosen one. If things have felt slow in your life, it was not neglect. It was mercy. You were being fortified for what you asked for. Now here is the prophetic truth I want to speak clearly over you. There is a window opening for those who chose responsibility over entitlement, discipline over indulgence, wisdom over impulse. This window will not remain open forever, but those prepared will recognize it. You will not need to chase it. You will step into it. And when you do, you must remember what carried you here. Humility, order, obedience, gratitude. Never forget that everything you steward is entrusted, not owned. That awareness keeps your heart clean. Chosen one. Wealth without reverence becomes arrogance, but wealth with reverence becomes influence. Influence that heals families. Influence that stabilizes communities. Influence that creates options for others where none existed before. This is why Scripture speaks so strongly about inheritance, not because God is obsessed with money, but because He is obsessed with continuity. He thinks in generations. He thinks in outcomes that outlive you. You are not called to consume everything you produce. You are called to build something that remains. Now let me speak to those who feel behind, those who feel like they wasted years, those who feel like they made too many mistakes to recover. Chosen one. Hear this: redemption does not rewind time, it redeems time. God does not need your past to be perfect to build your future correctly. What matters is alignment now. One decision made in wisdom today can undo years of drift. One season of discipline can reverse decades of instability. You are not late. You are being activated. Now here is your charge. Do not leave this message inspired but unchanged. Choose one area of your life and bring it into order. Just one. Heaven honors obedience in increments. As you do, momentum will follow. Do not announce your plans to everyone. Build quietly. Let fruit speak later. Chosen one. Silence during preparation is wisdom. There will be moments ahead where fear tries to return, where doubt whispers that this is too slow, too hard, too uncertain. When that happens, return to truth, return to order, return to gratitude. Peace is your compass. If peace leaves pause, re-evaluate. Do not force movement where clarity is missing. Now I want to leave you with this final truth because it is the anchor for everything you have heard. God does not measure success the way the world does. He measures faithfulness, faithfulness to assignment, faithfulness to stewardship, faithfulness to growth. And when faithfulness is found, increase follows naturally. Chosen one. You are not chasing wealth. You are aligning with wisdom, and wisdom always attracts provision. Walk forward calmly, build patiently, give generously from strength, protect what you steward, teach others by example, and trust that heaven is working with you, not against you. This is not the end of the message. It is the beginning of the walk. Stay grounded, stay humble, stay obedient. And remember, what is built with God cannot be shaken. Chosen one, as this word comes to rest within your spirit, know that nothing you have heard was released by accident. Heaven does not speak casually, and this moment was not random. You are standing in your Kairos time, the appointed intersection where preparation meets release. What has been hidden is now being revealed, and what has been delayed is now aligning. Anointed one, a supernatural transfer is already in motion, not just of resources, but of wisdom, authority, and discernment, the kind that cannot be taken, shaken, or imitated. Walk forward with quiet confidence. Stay faithful to what has been entrusted to you. Guard your heart, steward your increase, and remain aligned with the order heaven has established over your life. May clarity rest on your decisions. May discipline strengthen your hands. May peace govern your steps. And may every seed you have sown in faith now return in its appointed season, pressed down, multiplied, and overflowing. If this word resonated with your spirit, allow it to live beyond this moment. You may leave a quiet agreement in the comments or share this message with another chosen one who is ready to awaken. And if you feel led, remain connected, not out of obligation, but alignment. Go in wisdom, walk in authority, stay grounded in gratitude. What heaven has begun, it will complete.